Yes friends, as part of this session we are going to understand about inter-thread communication. Very important topic as part of our multi-threading, and also it is going to play a very important role in our application development. So how we are going to achieve this inter-thread communication? First let me put what is the thread communication. Think that there are two persons. How we can make that two persons to communicate with each other? Through some tool, that is language. But how these threads are going to get communicate? It is through locks. That's it. Than that nothing guys. Through locks only they are going to get communicate. Two persons can communicate with each other. How? By using a tool which is called as what? They can get communicate with each other by using a tool called as language. But how these two threads can communicate with each other? Let it be like thread 0 and thread 1. How these two threads can communicate with each other? By using locks. Okay, whatever the lock it is, if it is like instance lock, it is only one lock. If it is like class level lock, it will be available only one and also unique for each and every class. So by using these locks only, our threads are going to get communicate with each other in our Java programming language. Okay, now let us see, honestly speaking, as a novice person, we can use n number of things, we can talk n number of things, but how we are going to achieve this inter-thread communication is very important. You have to touch all the corners whenever we are talking about a concept, then only you can be good in practicing examples. Don't go for examples right away without understanding the concept at all corners. Okay, now so by using locks we can do communicate two threads. Of course, how to acquire the lock, how to release the lock, all these things we should know, right? So in order to, what is this inter-thread communication? Let me put what is this inter-thread communication, guys. Definition is what? Making two threads to communicate with each other. That's it. Okay, making two threads. Okay, making two threads to communicate with each other. Okay, to communicate with each other using what, guys? Using lock, using lock concept. That lock can be whatever the lock. It can be a class level lock, or it can be what other one, it can be a class level lock also. Okay, but as part of this session we are going to discuss based on the class level, instance level lock, that is object level lock. And it is so simple to understand what class level lock, as I said earlier. Okay, nothing great in that one, you can get it very easily. Okay, so lock concept means what? Instance level lock, and other lock is what? Class level lock. Okay, class level lock. Okay, now so in order to make two threads communicate with each other, we have to depend upon some of the implementation services which were available to us by default. These implementations were available to us by default through some 5 methods. So that is one is the notify all method, and another one is what? Wait overloaded methods. These methods were available in our object class. Why they made these methods in object class? Means object class is a super class for each and every class in our Java through direct hierarchy or through multi-level hierarchy, so that each and every class can inherit those method implementations getting through inheritance. Okay, so now, so how we can do achieve this one? So how we can achieve this one? Okay, how to achieve it? By using what? By using object class. Okay, object class final instance method. Okay, object class methods. What are those methods? Means it is so simple, try to focus please. Notify. Okay, what is this notify? How it is going to help us, and what is the implementation of that one? How we guys are recommended to use that notify method for our implementation based on the requirement. Okay, that is what we are going to see in this session. Okay, now other method is what? Notify all. Okay, notify all. Okay, and other 3 methods are so simple. Wait method, which is having no argument, and other one is what? Wait method, which is having long as the argument. Okay, long as the argument. Okay, that is long milliseconds. These wait methods throws interrupted exception, guys. Okay, throws interrupted exception. Okay, throws interrupted exception. Okay, throws interrupted exception, which is what? A checked exception. What is this checked exception means? These and all the exception classes which by default the compiler will have the knowledge about that one. So these things are going to get checked by the compiler at runtime. Okay. In exceptions we are going to see that one in great detail. No need to worry. What is this? Checked exception means those and all the checked exception classes will be aware to the compiler. That is, compiler is going to have the knowledge about those checked exception classes. Okay, that's why it is called as checked exception, and it is going to check that one. See, simple thing. Let me know one thing. See here, while true, true SOP of high, high, and here what is going to get happen on once again hello. If you do put this piece of code in your PCs or in your lapis, what it is going to give? Let us think it is what? Public static void main. Okay. Now you are going to get at this line. What is that? Compile time error saying as what? Unreachable statement. Why unreachable statement? It's very, very important. Okay. Please understand these things. All our Java technologies are running on our JVM only. You have to understand the JVM JVM behavior first. See here what it is. Honestly speaking, what it is? Boolean primitive, right? Boolean primitive, right? Boolean primitive. So compiler is having the knowledge of this primitive by its by default, right? Did we tell that? We are writing with very good dareness. What is that? Without any permission to directly. We know that while statement argument is what? A Boolean primitive always. So I took here it as true. So it will encounter this statement at the type of compilation. Here you will be getting what? Unreachable statement. Why? Because means it will re-evaluate the code once again on behalf of JVM, that is at runtime. So what the JVM is going to do at runtime, the same thing will be done by this our compiler. Why means? Because this is what? A constant. What it is? It is what? A constant. Constant means what? Constant means compiler is having knowledge about that one. They have dumped in the compiler. The compiler is having the knowledge about that one. If I know that one, I am going to evaluate that one. If I don't know, I am going to put it as it is. I am going to generate the bytecode. So JVM is going to take care of that one at the time of runtime. So it is going to get resolved at the runtime. So what is this? True. Of course, Boolean primitives, and that is Boolean primitives. What are those? True and false are what? Boolean primitives. Both are considered as what? Literals. Boolean literals, honestly speaking. So it is having the knowledge about that one. Who is having knowledge? Our compiler is having. And also null. It is the default value for our user defined data types or for the reference type. So it is having the knowledge about that one at compile time itself. So it is going to evaluate the code at the time of compile time only for the next time on behalf of JVM. So what is going to happen? So think that now compiler is evaluated this code. Now JVM is going to evaluate this code. Okay. So what is going to be the output to us? Infinite loop, right? Hi. Infinite loop. Try to understand. It's very important. Very important trick was lying in this. Okay. You have to understand that one. So it is going to print like this. But what it is that a runtime expression? No. It is what? A compile time constant. It is going to evaluate the code once again on behalf of JVM. So what is going to happen? So hello Mr. Fellow, I am executing this one continuously. This one itself continuing. This one itself executing more number of times. Then where is the chance for my JVM to reach this particular statement? That's why unreachable statement. Getting? It's very, very important. Okay. That's why. So these constants are about these constants. Compiler is having the knowledge. Okay. They have dumped all these things in our Java. Java C. And same like this interrupted exception class is also one among that. That is JVM. Compiler is having the knowledge about this one. That is, they are going to put this one as what? Checked exception. No need to worry. We are going to discuss all these things in detail. Okay. Now let us come to the actual topic. Okay. Now try to observe. We are having wait method, which is having argument as what? Long milliseconds, which is also throwing what? Which throws interrupted exception. And also we are having one more wait method, which is having two arguments, long milliseconds, int nanoseconds, which throws interrupted exception. Now all these methods are final instance methods. Okay, final instance method. So now let me put what? Final. Okay, all these methods are what? Final instance methods. Okay, final. And also they are what? Public methods. Okay, and also they are what? Public. So I can put even this one as like this also, no issues. these two are what? It is access modifier, it is what? Modifier, okay, please. And it is what? Public, okay, public, okay. If you are having difficulty in remembering this particular thing, please, okay. Now it is what? Public, okay. And actually this is not that that difficulty to understand. The remaining which is we are going to discuss later is very very important, okay. Definitely most of the guys are feeling trouble in it, and if you follow this session, I am sure that you will not feel any you will feel very comfort. There won't be any hurdles to you whenever you are developing the code by using inter-thread communication concept. I am sure that, because I am going to cover all the corners of this concept, okay. Now public, and what is that? Each and every method is returning void, okay. They are returning nothing. Nothing means what? Void, okay. Nothing means what? Void. And of course this notify and notify methods are native methods having implementation in our C, okay, native methods. And the wait method which is having argument as only single argument, that is what? Native method, okay. And remaining these two methods are not native methods. It is so simple to remember this method, okay. Now no need to worry, okay. And this is what our 4 methods. By using these 5 methods, we are going to achieve what? Inter-thread communication. So now let us see what is this notify method. Honestly, if you do understand this notify method and this wait method, this entire thing will get complete. And we are having some tricks where you have to understand, okay. Now when I have to use this particular notify method, when I have to use this particular wait method, means you have to know the implementation of those two methods internally, right? We have to know some implementation internally which has been existing in those two methods, right? What are those? Let us discuss. See here, you can see here wait method is there, right? When you can call a particular wait method, and one more important thing, how to call these methods, where to call these methods, on which reference we have to call these methods is very 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 important, okay. Now I am going to put one memory representation. Please try to be good in that one. Definitely you won't feel any difficulty, okay. Now as I said earlier, for each and every instance, whatever it is an instance, see here, if I take even a dummy class A, okay, for this class, if I do create an instance at some area, public static void main, think that I have class B, okay. Inside this I have created what? A equals to new A, okay. Now for this instance there will be one log. In memory there will be one instance, right, of underlying object is A. There will be one log. Please try to understand me. There will be what? One log, guys. There will be one log, whatever an instance it is. That's very very important. And also there will be what? Class level log also for this one and also for this one. If you do create an instance for class B, there will be an instance for also, there will be one instance level log for also class B, okay. And okay, let me close this class B, okay. Now this is what? Very important to understand this one, okay. Now so when we have to go for this wait method, think that I have an instance in the memory, let it be like a class A itself, okay. Think that we are having the skeleton for that class A here, okay. Here it is a dummy class which is having no methods. It is a concrete class having no, zero concrete methods and zero abstract methods, and also having zero data members, okay. Now try to observe. See, if there is a thread, okay, this is what? Inter-thread communication, right? Two threads has to communicate with each other by using log, okay. So this instance will be having what? One instance level log, okay. Instance level log, getting instance level log. By using this tool, by using that as our main thing, we are going to achieve that inter-thread communication between the threads, okay. Now try to understand this one. So think that there is a thread, okay. There is one thread. And also think that we are holding this particular reference with one of the identifier of A, okay. One of the identifier like A, okay. Now think that we are having two threads. What are those two threads? Thread 0, okay, and thread 1, okay. Thread 0 and thread 1. I want to make these two threads to communicate with each other. Hello Mr. Thread 1, hello Mr. Thread 0, please wait. Okay, please wait until you get an intimation or a notification by thread 1, then only you go and do something. Otherwise don't do access, don't execute any method. Getting? Hello Mr. Thread 0, don't do anything until you get an intimation by the thread 1. And thread 1 also will do the same thing. I am going to ask thread 1, hello thread 1, please don't do anything, don't execute any method of this instance until you get a notification by this thread 0. Getting? So they will be in waiting state. Whenever there is a notification, then only what they will do now? They will acquire the lock. What is this acquiring? What is releasing this lock? We are going to see that one. Okay, please, what is that means? See here, this thread 0, okay, this thread 0 will access, okay, this thread 0 will access, okay, this thread 0 will execute, okay, this thread will execute, this thread will execute method. Think that this class now think that we are having some methods. Of course it is what? An empty skeleton, right? Empty skeleton. Now let me take or else no need, okay, no need, leave it. Now will get execute, meaning is what? It is going to get access. Or let us think, is there any data member within this one? Or else I will tell, see when it is going to get acquired the lock. Okay, see here, this thread 0, that Mr. Thread 0 will acquire the lock until or if there is any notification by thread 1. What is that? Thread 0 will acquire the lock if there is any notification on this instance by thread 1. Getting? On this instance by thread 1. On this instance, try to follow my phrases. Okay, there should be some notification. Hello, thread 1 came now. Thread 1 gave one notification by, notification has been done by thread 1. Thread 0 is going to acquire the lock. This thread 0 will acquire, okay, will acquire the lock, okay, will acquire lock if there is any notification, okay, if there is any notification in the sense, hello, I have done something for you, so you can acquire the lock, so I will acquire the lock. Notification means technically it is nothing, honestly it is giving an intimation, it is giving a green signal for other thread to execute or acquire the lock, acquiring the lock. Okay, now acquiring these locks internally will be done, internal implementations were done by our, we are having those implementations in C itself, okay, and that has been dumped in our Java, in our Java and Java C, okay, honestly in Java only. Okay, now so we'll acquire the lock if there is any notification or intimation okay, intimation by, that's very 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 important, okay, by another thread, okay, by another thread. Why I am stressing this one? By another thread, okay, it's very very important, okay, by another thread. And this can release the lock at any time, okay, it can release that lock at any time, okay. And when this thread 1 is going to acquire the lock, see here, when this thread 1 is going to acquire the lock means if it can acquire the lock, okay, it will acquire the lock, will acquire the lock, okay, will acquire the lock, okay, will acquire the lock, okay, if there is any notification, okay, if there is any notification or intimation, okay, or intimation by another thread. What is the another thread? If I be at thread 1, another thread is what? Thread 0. If I be at thread 1, thread 0, what is another thread? Thread 1. Okay, getting? Now, if there is any notification or intimation, okay, intimation by another thread, okay, by another thread, guys, okay, by another thread. So a notification has been done by, so in order to acquire a lock by this thread 1, there should be one notification by thread 0, right? Thread 0, right? That's very very important. So just a rough sketch, than that nothing. You have to understand only one thing. See here, if this thread 0 has to acquire the lock of this instance means it has to get the notification, okay, it has to get the notification by another thread. Don't leave this phrase, it's very very important, okay, by another thread, okay, that's very very important. And if this thread has to acquire the lock of this instance means it has to get notification, okay, or it should get intimation by another thread. So here what is another thread? For this thread it is thread 0, okay, thread 0. And here what is the another thread here? Being at this thread 0, what is going to be the another thread? Thread 1. Thread 1. Okay, that's very very important. Why I am writing this? Definitely you will realize that one. Okay, wait. Okay, no need to worry. Okay, no need to rush. Okay.